So in this demo, I'm going to be going through activity 2 from the assignment for network architecture B, so network administration B, which is NTAD6212. So I go into my labs. Remember to use the labs because this is the virtual computers that we can use that is not going to be interfered or touched by anyone else but ourselves. It is also much faster. We can also access these virtual computers from any computer with an internet connection. I'm not sure if some of you have tried to do it via your phones, but it's a bit small, the phone, to use it. Theoretically, it should work. I'm not sure. I haven't tried. Okay, so if I'm looking at activity 2 now from my assignment, it says configuration of the domain. In this activity, you are required to install and configure the domain servers. For the purposes of this assignment, you are only expected to install one server machine consisting and showing the entire structure of the network. That means the head offices, campuses, and at least one client machine. Okay, so if I go in now to my virtual computer, I'm connected via Azure Labs. I'm going to go into Hyper-V. So from Hyper-V, I'm going to select one of my servers here. Oh, I see I've got a server that's running here. Let me just turn the server off. This one was for. So I'm going to turn that server off, and I'm just going to rename this one server B. I'm going to rename it. So this server now, okay, I need to stop the server. So let me just start it and then stop it. Let me just connect and see if this is, whereabout is the server. Okay, so this server has not been installed. And this is server B. So let me just. Okay, so I can see now there's my computer. Let's see if I have Active Directory installed here. No. So currently there's no Active Directory installed. In my planning document, I would have created Active Directory, right? So I should have an idea. So I'm going to log on to this virtual computer, and then I'm going to install. I'm going to install Active Directory according to what is required. So the first installation is going to be a new domain in the forest. And then as I proceed, I will then take the relevant screenshots according to the case study. So once I've logged into Server 2016, I then go to add roles and features. But before I go to add roles and features, I want to set a static IP address. And I want to change the computer's name as well, the server's name. So on the left-hand side, I will click on local server. And then currently I can see that the computer name is Subain N Server 2016. So I've got the correct name. So I don't need to change it. I just want to check the IP address information. It says that it's currently DHCP and it's IP version 6 enabled. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to go and change my IP address. So I go to its properties. I click on IP version 4, its properties, and then I use a static IP address. So I'm going to use 192.168. Let's use, I'm going to use 24. You can use any other number. So you just change this number, 24, 25, 26, 27, going up to 255. And then I'm going to use the server's address as being 1. The subnet mask will be automatically put in. The default gateway is also the server, so 192.168.24.1, and so will the DNS server be the same as well, 192.168.24 and then 1. So I ensure that I've got a static IP address that has been set on the server and that my computer name is correct. And then I can now go ahead and install my Active Directory. So on the server now, I look for, okay, so let's just maximize. So I'm currently on the NTAD server. So I'm going to open up my server manager. And from Server Manager, I'm going to go to Add Roles and Features. I'm going to go through the wizard. Many of us, all of us have installed this before. So it's role-based. There's my subend server that's here with a static IP address. I go next, and I'm going to select Active Directory Domain Services. It says Add Features. I'm going to go next. It will tell me about the .NET framework. I'll go next, and then next again. And then I'll install Active Directory, the first part of the installation. I still need to promote this machine, the server machine, to a domain controller. So I'll do that just now. So I'm going to wait for the installation of Active Directory domain services to be installed. Once the domain services are installed, then I'm going to install Active Directory. I'm going to promote the server to a domain controller. So remember, we don't take individual screenshots of all of the steps. We just take the screenshot at the end to show the job has been successfully done, and then we write notes about how to complete the job. Or, in other words, what the server is telling us, what the screenshot is telling us. I'm just changing my time zone so it shows me the correct time. It says that the feature has been installed. So I can see ADDS is now appearing. Then on the top right here, I can see I got notifications. Under notifications, it says that I can promote this server to a domain controller. It should also show it to me here if I click on ADDS. Can you see configuration is required for the server? If I click on more, it then says post-deployment configuration, promote the server to a domain controller. So I can promote the server to a domain controller. I'm going to be adding a new forest. And remember, I don't just call it Home Affairs, right? I have to put my name into it. So I'm Subend, initial of the surname, N, and then Home Affairs.gov. So I put in my name to indicate it is mine, and I did not copy it from someone else. It will ask me to put in a password. So I just use the standard password of password 1 so that I don't have password problems and I don't have to remember passwords. It tells me about delegation. I can do all of this additional configuration later. For now, I just go through the installation. I want to do the installation. So I go next. You can see it cuts the NetBIOS name if the names are too long. It tells me I'm going to be installing Active Directory in this location. I go next, and then I go next again. And then finally, I click on Install. So whilst it's installing and rebooting, let's go and have a look at what else do I need to do. So if I go back and if I look at my assignment document, it says, firstly, I need to show that the domain server is adequately installed. The server machine shows the entire structure of the network, the head office and the branch offices. Branch office server, both the servers are installed. So I will need to create domain controllers for those branch offices using Active Directory. The domain server is adequately promoted and configured with server roles. In other words, it's a domain controller, DNS, and DHCP has been installed. So they tell me I have to install DHCP as well. I'm currently busy installing Active Directory, which means it's a domain controller. DNS will automatically be installed. And then in addition to that, I'll need to install DHCP. Then it says the IP addressing is adequately implemented and follows best practices. In other words, I need to configure IP addresses for all of the different branch offices, set up their scopes and the ranges of IP addresses for the different branch offices. Then it says the correct domain controller types are used per site. I need to ensure that the head office is a Active Directory domain controller, and then the branch offices are read-only domain controllers. What else do I need to do? All three sites are adequately linked using site links. So I'll need to create different sites and site links as well. One machine is adequately joined to the head office, and one client machine is joined to the branch office. One client machine is joined to the branch office. The delegation of administration is configured. NIC teaming is configured or considered for configuration. And then Active Directory user accounts are then created, and they give us 20 marks for that. So you're going to create 5 user accounts per branch office and then per department as well. Active Directory group accounts are created and configured, including members and group accounts. Network shares are created and configured. Naming convention is implemented and adequately configured, and it includes server machines. All of the names needs to be correctly done. So we're going to go back now. Let's see where it is. It is busy rebooting. And we'll continue with the first part, which is to create So in the first part, we need to install the server machines. Remember, they told us only one server machine is required. So I'm not going to create branch office servers, but in the Active Directory structure, I'm going to create it there. Okay, so you can see now that it's giving me the option to log in to my domain, which is Subend Home Affairs. I'll log into my domain. The question here is how many network adapters do we need to install? You need multiple network adapters for NIC teaming, right? So network adapters, you can install an additional 2 and then create a NIC team with it. All right, so one of the questions was NIC teaming simply means grouping all your network adapters together to act like one. So you can add an additional 2. I've now installed Active Directory. If I go to Tools, and if I go to Active Directory Administration Center or Active Directory Sites and Services, I can see Users and Computers and Administrative Center. I can use all of these different tools to help me to manage this server. So here in the overview, I can see that, okay, I've got Active Directory. Use Active Directory administration to manage tasks that you need to do. So you can click on it, it will give you more information. So if I look at currently, there's my domain. Inside of my domain, I've currently got built-in computers and all of these other organizational units. I'm going to have to create additional organizational units. So I'm going to close the administration center and I'm going to be working with Active Directory users and computers initially. So what's the first thing, the screenshots that I need to take? Let me go and see which screenshots I need to take. So the screenshots that I need to take now is, the first one is the server machine and branch office servers that are installed, the entire structure. So the structure is part of Active Directory sites and services. So I'll go back into my virtual computers and I'm looking for Active Directory sites and services. Under sites, it shows me here default first site name. Okay, so in my first site, who do I have? I'm going to rename this so that I know this is head office. So home affairs, head office. So that's the first site. Now it doesn't want a space. So when I say rename, I can say home affairs head office. So I put dashes between the words, it accepted it. I can also create additional sites for the other servers. Sorry, for the other. So I click on sites here. I've currently got home affairs. You can see I've got the default first site, which is home affairs. I also need to create sites now for the branch offices. So where's the branch offices are where? According to the case study, okay, so head office is in Pretoria. I've got KZN and Gauteng branch offices. So I need to now create those branch offices in the sites. So I go here now, and then I look for, okay, let me create new sites. So new site, what is this site going to be called? It's going to be called Home Affairs Gauteng. And then I can say office. And for now, default site link. We can change this later. I'll say okay. And then I'm going to create, I click on sites again, and I'm going to create a new site. And this is going to be Home Affairs as well. And this is my Pretoria, Gauteng, and KZN. KZN. So KZN office. I click on the default site link and I say OK. Now, inside of the servers, I can currently see I've got subend server that's been installed. On the other sites as well, I also need to create servers. So here, I'll say new server, and then I'm going to create a server. And this is a server now that's going to be which one? For Gauteng. So I'm going to say subend home affairs Gauteng DAU, right? Home affairs Gauteng RODC, read-only domain controller. So I've got a server that has been created here. Similarly, I'm going to do the same for KZN. So in KZN, I'm also going to create a server, and then I'm going to give it a name, subend HA Home Affairs. This one is KZN, and this one is also a RODC. So now you can see in Active Directory sites and services, I'm creating a structure that is showing me all my different servers that have been created. Okay. So this one here is my main server, and then I've got branch office servers at different sites. And then I can just expand this so that it shows me correctly. It shows me the full name on the top there. So if I go back now and see what screenshot is required here for the first one, it says, okay, we've gone through cover page, etc. The server machine showing the entire structure of the network, head office, and branch offices, 6 marks. Branch office server is installed, and both branch office servers are installed, 2 marks each. So for this one, we just need to simply show that screenshot here. So I can take a snip, new snip, and I'm going to show that the structure has been created. All right. This is clearly showing me there's my server, subend server, head office, Gauteng office, and then KZN office. So then I go to my document, activity 2. I'll put in my first screenshot. And then I'm going to write what is it showing me? It is showing me so servers installed at head office and branch offices. The head office server is a domain controller, and branch offices are read-only domain controllers. So that's the first one that's answered. What's the next screenshot I need to take? I go here and I see, okay, domain server is promoted. So I need to take a picture of Active Directory, DNS, and then DHCP. I have not installed DHCP. So I'm going to now go and install. Okay, let me take a picture of domain controller and DNS first. So domain controller, I would go into my virtual computers, and I need now a picture of okay, so there's Home Affairs that has been installed. So I can expand the Home Affairs, and then I can click on my users that are built in just to show that it has been created. And then I can make this larger and expand this so that it shows me the full name of the server on the top here. So I'm just going to drag this bar, left click, hold it down, and then drag it across. Remember, when you take your screenshots, it must show full details. Okay, so here now I can see Active Directory users and computers. I can see that it is installed on subend server homeaffairs.gov. I can see that I've got my domain that's installed, so I can take a screenshot here. So I can go back. Let me just restore this one. And I can go to my snipping tool, and I can say new, and I can take a snip of Active Directory. So this now shows that the domain has been installed. So then I go back to my document, I put in the screenshot, domain installed. You'll put in more information. I'm just illustrating by typing something. Next one, they said I need to show that DNS is installed. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to now go to my server manager. And I'm going to open up DNS. And then I'm going to expand my DNS server to show that it has been installed correctly. So I'm going to click on my, I can make this bigger and then move this bar. Now this shows that I've successfully installed my DNS. So I'm going to go back and take a screenshot of this. There's the screenshot. Go back to my Word document. Indicate that this is DNS installed. You won't just write DNS installed, you'll give additional information. And then go back. What is next? DHCP needs to be installed. So I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to install DHCP. So I go back to add roles. Next. And I'm looking for DHCP. So I put a tick in DHCP. I add the additional features. I go next. next, next, and then install. Once the DHCP server is installed, I will need to create a scope first, set up the first scope for the head office, which is the Pretoria office, and then I will need to continue creating scopes for the branch offices as well. Or if in your diagram you've decided that you are installing DHCP servers in your branch offices as well, you also need to indicate that. So once DHCP has been installed, I can then go and manage my DHCP, complete DHCP configuration. So I go next. We're going to use the same person. So specify the credentials used in this DHCP server, same person. And then it says, okay, it's been authorized. Then I'm going to complete configuration. Let's see under notices, feature installation complete. Okay. So I'll go to tools now. And under tools, I'm going to go to DHCP. I can see I've got my DHCP server here. I'm just going to resize the windows. And I'll click on my DHCP server. I can see IP version 4 and IP version 6. On IP version 4, I'm going to create a scope. Go next. The name of the scope is going to be related to this home affairs. So home affairs, head office. So this one now is for HA, head office, home affairs, head office. It's going to start from 192.168.1 going up to, we said it was 24 in my example, 24.1. It's going up to 192.168.24.254. And then we're going to go next. Exclusions. We're going to exclude the first 5 IP addresses. So 192.168.24.1 and 192.168.24.5. Add. Go next. We leave the defaults. There's scope options that needs to be configured. Do you want to create the router? Yes. 192.168.24.1. That's the address of the server. Anything else? No. Wins? No. You want to activate the scope? Yes. Finish. So we've got a scope created for the head office. In the same way, you can create scopes for your branch offices as well. So the next one can be Home Affairs, Gauteng office, GAU office. And in the same way, we're going to create IP addresses 192.168. It can't be 24. It must be a different range now. So I'm going to make this one 25.1. So here as well, I'll exclude the first 5. One nine two 25. Oh, the end address here needs to be 254. I'm going to exclude the first one, 192.168 as the router. And then similarly, you'll create another scope for Home Affairs, KZN office. Okay, so then I'll take a screenshot of this one. All right, so stop recording here and continue in the next part.